Thanks everybody, and welcome back to the next session of Women in Global E-commerce. If you are having any technical difficulties, by the way, our DIT Southwest event team are on hand to help you out. Our next session is with the lovely Julia Williams. She's going to be talking all about navigating third-party logistics and scaling your brand. So Julia's background has been in sales, always very, very sales focused, and she's launched her sales career working within the IT sector for the last 18 years. Julia has managed various geographical territories, business partner channel management, tenders, as well as customer account management and development. And she's currently the business development manager at I-Fulfilment. So thanks very much, Julia. Lovely to hear from you.
Great, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to meet everybody. And it's a blessing to sort of be on this presentation with everyone today. Just to really have a look at what I'll be covering today is a brief introduction to I-Fulfilment, so you have an idea of who we are and what we actually do. We'll then have a look at Blade and why to use a 3PL, a third-party logistics partner, how to choose a 3PL, and how a 3PL can also help you to scale your brand and what support is there for you, and how do small businesses scale up and build a brand. So moving on to a little bit in terms of I-Fulfilment. I-Fulfilment was established back in 2004. So we've been doing fulfillment now for going on for 18 years. So what we basically do in a nutshell is we store products, we pick, pack and dispatch. So our background started out in consumer electronics. I-Fulfilment is a family-owned business and still run by the family. And it started out in consumer electronics and dealing with multi-channel partner businesses. We've also developed our own brands. We have 2 different brands that we actually have grown with over the years. One of those is Closer to Nature, which is artificial plants. And the other brand is the Greenfield Collection. So that is like picnic baskets, outdoor camping chairs, tables, and so forth. So by having that brand experience, we sort of have learned over the years what the key touch points are in terms of ensuring every area in terms of fulfillment is actually met from end to end. So we offer a full service right from when the product is actually ordered on the e-commerce store right through to the customer experience of receiving delivery, and we cover this for both B2B and B2C customers. We also offer a range of other value-added services. We do marketing, search engine optimization, we do returns for customers, reworking services, amongst some of the others. And we've also created Blade. Now, Blade is actually our own technology-enabled platform that we have developed. Blade was launched back in 2010, so that's now been going for just over, actually going on for 11 years now. And we've spent about £3 to £4 million actually building Blade. And this is really the engine of our business, and something that we are very proud of. When we first started out, when we were back in consumer electronics, what we would have to do, we used to use third-party software. If there was anything that we would require, we would have to go back to the software vendor, request the change, pay a couple of £1,000 and actually wait for that to be rolled out. So now that we actually have our in-house team, it has really benefited us, and it gives us the flexibility, because we might get a request from one customer, maybe 2 or 3, and we can actually put that forward to the technical team, and they can then actually build that option or that functionality within Blade. We've also achieved rapid growth over the years, and most of our businesses all come through referrals, which is a very good way of receiving business. And we're also proud to say that 98% of the business to date has actually been retained. Just to move on to have a look at our global footprint as such, we do have a global presence. Our headquarters are based down in Christchurch in Dorset, and that's where our main fulfillment started. We also have another facility on the east coast of the US based in Virginia. We've now had that warehouse facility for 6 years, and we have a further warehouse in Germany, which we've now had for 3 years, and that literally was birthed once the Brexit decision had actually taken place. We do plan to expand further to the west coast of the US and also down in Australia. That was supposed to happen last year, in fact, but there was a slight delay because of COVID and the travel restrictions that were in place at the time. So at the moment, we've got that global footprint, which is available to all our customers. And another exciting development is we're also building an extra warehouse at Bournemouth Airport at Herne, just down the road from us. So that's going to be a larger facility. It's going to have more state-of-the-art functionality, automation systems. It's also going to incorporate some offices for customers that are available to rent, as well as a co-working space. Because we've actually found a lot of customers might have started off doing drop shipping, and some of them haven't even seen their products. They might have received an example or a sample many years ago. So it's actually good that they actually feel and touch their products, and it's a good way for us to network and keep in contact with our customers and help them to grow their brands, to basically enable them to increase their sort of profits and so forth. On the bottom sort of right-hand side are a panel of our key carriers, ones that we negotiate with. At each one of our warehouses, we will negotiate with a range of different carriers based on the volumes that move out of that warehouse. And that will be based on the parcel once it's actually packed, the dimensions, the weight of the parcel, the destination, and the service that the customer actually requires. So all these key carriers are all filtered into our Blade system. So this enables our customers to be able to scale with us. We've got the global footprint to support their business. This is just really Blade to give you an idea. This is a graphical representation which has got a lot of detail in it. But in a nutshell, if I move from the left-hand side of the screen, the marketplace module is literally wherever the order comes from. So it would be your Amazon, your eBay, your Shopify e-commerce store, your ERP systems. So we've got the marketplace module, which is where the orders would originate. These then filter in through a data link, and then it blends through all the different stages of actually fulfilling the order, which is all intelligently done. So you've got your online portal, you've got your app, you've got your ERP systems, you've got your returns functionality. And this then links into the shipping module, where all these carriers that you saw on the previous slide are actually all added into the Blade system. So Blade can intelligently actually select the cheapest service to the destination for the customer. So this then results in a smooth customer experience when the customer receives delivery of their parcel, and it also links in the brands as well. So all the data within the system is very secured, and we also offer a multi-warehouse management system. So when we actually set up a company what we would do is we'd have the company at the top, and that would then link into the different warehouses. So if your marketplace was the UK, you would probably use the UK warehouse to supply the UK market. If you've got a large portion of customers in the EU, you could then use our German facilities to supply to the German market and all the EU countries. So Blade basically sits at the top. So you've got your organization at the top, and you've got the multiple warehouses that can link in underneath. We also have a returns management function within Blade, and we have 3 different options available for our customers. The first option is basically a fast returns white label portal. So what this actually does, it actually is a link on your website at the bottom. So the customer would literally click on that link and generate their own return. When they click on the link, they would then be asked to add in their order number and their postcode. The next screen that would pop up would ask them what goods they would actually like to return. They would then select the items. It would then ask the next question, do you want a refund on this product, or do you want an exchange? And then it completes the process and then provides 2 sets of paperwork. One set of paperwork will be for the customer to retain, so they've got a record of their return. The other set of paperwork would be to return together with the product, and it also generates a return label. So that is really for customers who've got a high volume of returns and who want that full automation process. And this would normally relate to clients who've got, say, clothing, shoes, those kind of products. The second returns option that we have is basically just an easy returns option. And that option is where you as a company would actually manage that returns function yourself. A customer would contact you via your email address or the preferred method of contact, and then you would actually go into our system, you would open that customer's order, and you would create the return, and it would take you through exactly the same steps. So it would ask you what products you're returning, is it a refund, is it an exchange, and then it would generate the paperwork. You would then send that paperwork and that prepaid label over to your customer. I work with lots of different customers every single day. I speak to different clients, some who are just investigating, some who are new startups, and others who have been in business for a very long time. If you're a new startup, I often advise, and you don't have a lot of returns, is actually manage the returns function yourself, because that way you've got your finger on the pulse, you know exactly what products are being returned, why they are being returned, and what the reasons are. So it helps you to actually grow your brand. The third option is basically a fast returns option, where with every single order that goes out, we would include a prepaid label. That prepaid label would then be scanned when it's actually sent back, and that's the only touch point that you would actually pay for that return. So at I-Fulfilment, we offer a multilingual customer service. We do accounts purchasing, content management. Blade system is available 24/7, and it offers the full channel integration into all the various global marketplaces. So at the bottom, it just runs through some of those, which are the Bright Pearl, the Shopify, the Amazons. Xero, the accounting package as well, also integrates into Blade, as well as Magento and eBay. The exciting part of this is just a snapshot of a few, but our technical team are currently completing a new marketplace module, and that will enable our customers to plug in to around about 100 different marketplaces, which is really going to help to grow their brands. Just another look at Blade. These are just really screenshots from the actual Blade system. As I mentioned on the previous screen, it's available 24/7, so it's cloud-based. You can access it from your computer, from your tablet, or you can download apps for Android and Apple. So at the bottom is literally just a screenshot of what the app would look like. The top screen on the top left here is your management dashboard, and this actually will have detailed reporting, which is customizable to each and every customer, because each customer would be unique. So here you'd have possibly all your orders in total, how many orders are being dispatched, how many are sort of waiting to be picked, packed, how many on hold, etc. So you can see at a quick flick of a screen exactly what your business looks like, what your sales volumes are. This screen below here is just really a snapshot of all the orders in Blade. So you've got different filters available, so you can sort through and see how many orders again are dispatched, how many on hold, and you can click onto each and every one of these orders and see each order in further detail as well. So the whole system integrates with all the marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, all the sales platforms like Shopify and Magento. We also integrate with Tier 1 and Tier 2 retailers for drop shipping, and we also integrate with a key of those shipping carriers as well. So Blade will automatically, once the order drops into Blade, it will pick, pack and dispatch that order, and you can actually see it coming through in real time. So what would happen, your customer would go onto your website, they would select their products, they would pop them in the shopping basket, and then literally once they've actually paid for that transaction, it drops through into Blade. The minute it drops in, you'd be able to go into your orders, see the order into Blade, open up that order, and it'll actually tell you it's awaiting allocation, it's being picked, it's being packed, it's being dispatched. Once it's been dispatched and a tracking number has been allocated, you can also click on the tracking number and it will take you through to the relevant courier website, whether it's Royal Mail or DPD, depending which country you're in. So you can actually track that order in live time. If on your Shopify store, for example, you had 100 of a particular product and someone has just placed an order for 2, immediately it will reflect as you've now only got 98 in Blade. So it tracks everything in real live time, which is really dynamic. And I've touched on the returns management as well. So the question here is really why actually use a third-party logistics partner? I think the most important thing here is time. Time is actually of the essence. I speak to many different customers every single day, and I think the pinch point is generally between 300 and 500 orders. I find that when people get to that sort of level of orders per month, they actually do not have enough time to do anything else within their business. So it frees up the resources, and it helps you as a customer and as a business to actually focus on your products, the development of your products, actually looking at other marketplaces, seeing who else is selling your products, looking at your competitors, doing some competitive analysis, possibly searching for new suppliers in terms of your products. So it enables you to actually focus on your business and move away from actually putting products in parcels, packaging them up, labeling them, running off to the post office in the afternoon and actually sending them out. So it really just frees up your time, and time is money. And we find that most customers who are at that pinch point between 300 and 500 orders, once they've actually come on board with us, suddenly their orders leap up to 800 a month, and then 1,000 a month, and then 1,500, and 2,500, and so forth, because now they are focused on the sales of their business. They focused on their business and what they're actually good at. It's also going to reduce your fixed overhead costs. Every customer is at a different point. Like I say, there's those who are just doing the research. There are those who have just started and been going a couple of months. And there's those companies who've got their own warehouse facilities. So for those with their own warehouse facilities, even if you've got a small storage area, you're going to reduce those costs substantially and also increase your cash flow. And it's going to simplify your business at the end of the day. And those costs are going to be shared because you're going to be focusing on your business. You've also got the ability as well to sort of flex capacity on demand. When Black Fridays come up, when your peak periods come up, when Christmas comes up, we are there to support you. We often ask our customers, let us know when you're going to be doing a campaign. And each client is different based on the products that they have and that they distribute. So each client will have different times of the year when they've got their high season and their low season. And I think the key here is rather outsource the fulfillment side to actual subject matter experts. How to choose a 3PL. Sorry about that, someone just walked in the boardroom. I think the most important thing here is, do they understand your business? I think this is probably one of the main key areas. Understanding your business is absolutely a must. And the reason being is you're going to be partnering with that 3PL that you actually choose. So I really cannot stress this enough, that they understand your business, what your goals are and what your objectives are. Because each and every business is unique. So they need to understand your product, they need to understand your marketing strategy, and they need to understand where you are at the moment. Possibly you're a UK-based business and you are selling into the UK market, or otherwise you might be wanting to expand to the EU, or you might be wanting to go to the US. So it's very key that you actually partner with who can actually support your business. Next, cost versus value is also very, very important. I think we all know by now that cheapest is not always the best. So yes, we're going to outlay a certain amount to actually pay for that service that you're receiving, but you need to look at the value that you're going to receive back. It's going to give you more free time in terms of your resources to be able to focus on your business, your sales, your marketing, and your branding. Warehouse integrity is also very key. It's good to ask them questions in terms of their warehouse to find out what systems they have in place. Do they have barcoding systems? How do they store your products? How do they actually pick, pack, and manage your products? Can you go and visit the warehouse? All these are very important factors to consider when you're choosing a 3PL. We have recently gone through various ISO certifications, so at least those are in place. We've done the 9001, which is in terms of management systems. We've done the one for occupational health and safety, information security management system as well, because we've got all our customers' data in the Blade system, and also managing the environment as well. So it's very key to ask the 3PL in terms of their warehouse and what they have in place. Another thing to look at is the global reach. Depending on what your plans are for growth and expansion, it's always wise to know, does that 3PL offer you that global reach? Does it have the capacity in its warehouse to store your products? And what automation strategies do they have available? Account management is also another key point as well. When you actually select that 3PL, who will be your point of contact? What will be the processes? Can you speak to somebody in the warehouse? Can you speak to somebody in customer services? What happens if an order is delayed? What happens if you need some information on tracking? You need to know what the point of contact is. And also in terms of actually onboarding, moving your existing business to a 3PL can also be quite a stressful event for a lot of customers. So it's very good to understand what that onboarding process entails. How long will it take? What members will be involved? Will you be assisted in terms of your shipping, setting up your shipping rates, setting up your shipping code, setting up your packaging? How will your packaging look when it gets to the end customer? All these are very important factors to take into place. Also having received a full project plan on all the steps involved and what needs to take place in what order. Also, a very key question to ask the 3PL is in terms of their technology. What technology do they have in place? What investment strategy have they got in place? And here I'm just going to mention Blade again, as we've got here software as a service. That is another level that we do actually aim to achieve as well, probably in the next 18 months or so, is to launch Blade as a software as a service. But there's a lot of fulfillment houses out there, a lot of warehouses storing products and sending products out who do not really have a very smooth and seamless system. Heritage is also very, very important. It's good to ask the 3PL in terms of their history and their experience. And the reason I bring this up now is because a year ago, COVID hit us all. It changed our lives. And in terms of that, e-commerce business has literally gone through the roof, which means everybody who's out to make a quick buck, if I can put it that way, is now jumped on and is doing fulfillment. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best. So it's good to look at that company and see what history do they have, what experience do they have in terms of dealing with retailers, in dealing with B2B orders, in terms of dealing with Amazon orders, FBA orders, and actually direct to consumer. So all that needs to be taken into account. Moving on, how can a 3PL help you to scale your brand? I think very importantly here is actually your customer experience. Your customer is absolute key, because without your customer, you do not have a business. The customer is where your finances are coming from. That's where your money is coming from. So you want to gain your customers' trust and you want to reduce churn. So to choose the correct 3PL can help you to scale your brand by ensuring that from the moment they place the order right through to delivery is actually a very smooth experience. Also, in terms of holistic marketplace management, make sure that it is streamlined, make sure that every single touch point has actually been addressed. With our system, literally the customer will go on, place the order, it drips through to us within a couple of hours, depending what time the order comes through. That customer's already been communicated that their order has been dispatched with a tracking number. So at least then they've got that visibility in terms of where their order is and when they can expect it. And that's the kind of service that you would want to deliver to your customer in terms of having that smooth delivery and returning churn and not having errors in terms of sending the wrong products to customers. Also, a global footprint, again, is actually key because it offers customers a local delivery service. So if I'm living in the UK and I order a product and I see it's coming via Royal Mail, it's familiar, it's my local delivery service. If I'm living in the US and I order a product and it's coming via USPS, again, it is familiar. So by actually having a global footprint, if you choose a 3PL and you plan to expand into those territories, it's going to give your customers a better experience. It's also going to reduce the cost that it's going to. So if you're going to send from US to US, your cost of shipping will be reduced. That also means that you'll be more competitive as well. And also a very important thing in terms of scaling your brand is to have insights into your business, visibility. Do they have reporting functionality? Can you do inventory reports? Can you do stock reports? Can you see your goods in where your products are in the process? Can you see the status of your orders? So it's very important to have those business insights and visibility in terms of the partner that you select to help you scale up your brand. And then the last slide is actually how to build a brand. And I think with small businesses, because this slide relates more to small businesses, is to really be absolutely honest and understand your strengths and your weaknesses as a business. Because each and every one of us have got strengths in different areas. So if, for example, you need assistance with customs, outsource that to a customs broker. If you need assistance importing products from China, contact a freight forwarder. If you need assistance with 3PL and distribution, then you need to use a 3PL. So it's very key to actually understand the strengths and weaknesses of your business, and also then to get to know your customer. Because as I've said prior, customer is key. You need to take that time and energy to get to know exactly who your audience is and exactly how to reach them. You can have the best brand in the world, but unable to grow that if you're not reaching the right customer. So you need to look at the markets that you're selling in. You need to really identify and analyze those customers and ensure that you are reaching the right customers. Every time you do adverts, analyze the data, keep learning, attend seminars, attend workshops, research your brand, your industry, look at different manufacturers, look at different competitors, see what they are doing, see who's successful, who's falling down. If you are a new business that's recently started, analyze your returns, see why the customers are returning those products. So you've got a better understanding of what needs to be changed. And again, many new and established brands fall into the trap of just literally paying for advertising and sitting back and waiting for something to happen. It's very important to make that capital work more effectively for you by constantly reviewing those adverts and the sales and marketing channels that you're popping those down and making sure that you reach the right audience. So I would put out an advert, analyze the response and possibly tweak it and then remarket possibly in different channels or to a different audience, and learn as you go along. Every day of sales or lack of it is telling you something new. And it's really important to ensure that you've got the capacity to take the time to analyze the performance of your business and learn from that. I'll just move on to questions and answers.
Hi, Julia. That was fantastic. Thank you ever so much for that. We have got a couple of questions in. The first one, Julia, is, have you any advice on finding out what customs / admin charge a customer will have to pay in another country? I know my product's customs codes, but have struggled over the years to get information on these financial barriers to export. Is this something that a 3PL would be able to help with?
I've got links and data that I can share, but customs and duties and tax isn't really our area of expertise. But I do have some links and some information that I can forward to anyone who's interested. Because each country is also a bit different. So it depends from where you're shipping and to where it's actually going.
Absolutely. I'd also add on to that, if you don't mind. I would suggest that whoever asked that question, thank you very much for that. Please get in contact with either your ITA, your International Trade Advisor, or contact DIT Southwest, and they'll be able to forward you to an ITA or an e-commerce advisor. Okay, so different ways that you can get answers to that. And I've got another question here for you, Julia, as well. It says, I'd like to ask if it's possible to request specific packaging with a fulfillment company, e.g. we always wrap our orders in pink tissue paper. Would that be part of your service? Could that be replicated?
Yes, what we do is, as part of our onboarding process, we actually go through quite a lot of detail in terms of packaging. So each and every customer is different. Some customers provide their own packaging, which could just be generic. Other customers would provide branded packaging, which would have their logo and their colours and details on. And others would just use our standard packaging. So in our warehouse, we've got like standard mailer bags, jiffy bags, and boxes and so forth. Now, this particular client is asking in terms of tissue paper. Tissue paper, unfortunately, has been banned from our warehouse. And the reason being is very delicate. and it tends to get fingerprints on it. So what we've done is we have actually come up with different options. We've got little chips and we've got a range of different colors, little zigzag shreds. So we can actually show them those examples. So what we would do is we would sort of make some suggestions and we would pre-pack their goods on samples that they've actually sent us and take photographs and send that back to the client. So tissue paper is the only thing that we at I-Fulfilment do not deal with, but everything else is very negotiable.
Right, that's fantastic. Going back to the scaling up, Julia, you were saying about you've got like a 300 to 500 orders per month is kind of like the sweet spot. What about brands that are maybe smaller than that or just below that? Are you able to help them? Is that recommended?
Yes, each client is evaluated based on what their product is and who their market is and sort of what's the strategy and marketing plan they've got in place. And I think, like I said right at the beginning, most of our clients we've actually grown with right from the beginning. And that's why I really stress that partnership is really important, to actually have that initial conversation to discuss the product, the markets that you actually want to grow into, because everybody's got to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
that 300 to 500 is really the pinch point where customers then say, I can't do this anymore, because now they're spending literally half their day or even into the night actually packing products where, in terms of sales and marketing and other areas are actually getting pushed aside and not attended to at all.
Fantastic, thank you. And can I ask about maybe more premium brands, luxury items that have more of a bespoke or they want more of a bespoke customer service, and maybe in apparel as well, and how you can help with returns on that? Could you maybe go into more detail, because apparel is obviously notorious for returns as well, and you mentioned that you handle them. How do you go about that, please?
Yes, like I said, we do offer the standard 3PL service, but we've also got a fulfillment team as well, where we do manage customer services for a number of different clients. And those clients that we do manage the customer services for is mostly in apparel. It's sports clothing and sports shoes and so forth. So there is a lot of churn and return on terms of that, because people might order 2 jackets, one is too small, one is too big, or they don't like the color. So we actually have we actually manage the customer services for those clients. So we manage their inboxes, we manage the telephone calls for them, and we manage their sort of fresh desk as well. So it's a total different service which we do offer to our customers. So all that would be tailored based on the brief that we get from the client. Yeah,
that does sound like a great solution. Actually, I know obviously that's been quite a complicated area for some clients as well. I thought it was interesting as well, the point you touched upon, like, for example, shipping to the US, and how from a US customer's perspective, they would receive it from a local US delivery partner, and building up the trust then. So it's about your brand perception as well, isn't it? That you have that trust in that country. We have a few more minutes. Can you elaborate a bit more about that, how that would work logistically? Like, does that mean that a UK brand would ship to your warehouse in the US, or do they send it to you in Christchurch and then you send it? Can you explain a bit more about that, please?
It depends on the size of the client. So if a client is actually at a certain size, so let's say, for example, they're doing 10,000 orders a month, and let's say 5,000 of those orders are US based, it makes sense for them to send product to the US. So with Blade, you can actually have one or multiple sales channels coming in. So our system could actually select any orders for the US automatically get shipped from the US warehouse. Anything that's for the UK goes out of the UK warehouse, and anything for the EU, let's say, goes out of Germany warehouse. So what we do is in each country, we negotiate with different carriers based on the volumes of parcels from each warehouse. So a customer would normally, let's say their products are coming from, they could be coming from Pakistan, they could be coming from Spain, they could be coming from China. So what they would do is they would normally send stock into each one of the warehouses in the markets that they actually want to sell into. So when an order comes in, it would then be dispatched from the local warehouse to the end customer, which then speeds up the shipping time to the customer, the cost for the actual customer, being the client who's actually shipping the product, would be reduced, and it also enables them to be more competitive. So I have a lot of clients who start out, let's say, with the UK market, and they're selling product A. So when they go to the US, in terms of shipping, it's very different to the UK, because with the UK it's quite simple. You've got one price literally to anywhere in the UK. When you're looking at the US, it becomes a lot more complex, because now we've gone from grams and kilograms to pounds and ounces. You've got to convert everything. Then you've got commercial addresses, and you've got residential addresses, and you've got all the zip codes, and they're all different prices. So it's a little bit of a maze, but I normally just help them through that, and we go through one step at a time. So it's just so much more beneficial, because the consumer right at the end of the chain is actually receiving a local delivery service. The time is going to be quicker, and the cost is going to be reduced. So at the moment, we have an East Coast warehouse in Virginia, and we do plan to open the West Coast very. We were about to go there, I think, April last year, and then it had to sort of be cancelled because of the COVID situation. I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure if you would like me to elaborate a bit more.
No, absolutely, Julia. That was absolutely spot on. Thank you for that. Yes, I think that's a very interesting point you've talked about. And as an ITA, when we're advising, we do explain that it's not like you ship to the States as one country. It should be considered as like 50 different different rules and regulations, almost 50 different countries in one. And interesting as well that you mentioned obviously about East and West Coast delivery, depending on where the products are coming from, obviously to help on the delivery times. Just to touch upon the EU delivery as well, from your warehouse in Germany, are you able to fulfill throughout Europe?
Yes, bear in mind, we can fulfill from any warehouse to anywhere in the world. Basically, all we do is we store, pick, pack, and ship products. So we can ship them from any destination to any sort of destination. So yes, from Germany, we can ship to the EU, and the benefit for those customers who were sending from the UK to the EU, which was very easy before Brexit, means it's going to get there a lot quicker, it's going to be cheaper, and they're going to avoid the customs. So I think those are the big issues. So all I've done for the last 2 months is talked about Brexit and the costs involved and all the inquiries for our Germany warehouse. So yes, if you've got a lot of customers in Europe, it makes sense to use a European 3PL, definitely.
Thanks for that. Absolutely. I think also you've touched upon some really valid points today, which, you know, very thankful for. And also it's about managing your different channels or routes to market, whether it's through Amazon or maybe real.de in Germany, or maybe, as Judith was talking about this morning, like a B2B, like Anchor Store based out of France, and how you manage all of those different channels and your own sales coming through your website on one screen, rather than having to swap from different softwares and maybe getting confused as well, and how a 3PL can assist with that kind of service as well. Is there anything you'd like to add on that, Julia, before we conclude?
Yes, our system is multi-channel. So like you say, even if a client actually starts out in the UK, let's say they're using a Shopify store, for example, and everything's quoted in pounds, if you're now going to really target the US, it makes sense to actually use a second store, which is obviously in dollars, and it just makes a bit more sense because the shipping costs would be a lot different as well. So generally, I think, I don't know if that answers that question.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's just the benefit, isn't it, of having one interface where you can manage multiple sales channels, really.
That's right.
That makes it easy.
Exactly, everything plugs into Blade. So Blade is unlimited in terms of number of users and number of sales channels. So I mean, the most common is obviously the e-commerce store. Everyone's got a different e-commerce store. You've got your Amazons. You might have your Amazon FBA where you're going to send in bulk to Amazon to be fulfilled by Amazon, or you've got fulfilled by merchant, or you've got Amazon Prime, or you've got eBay. So all that literally filters in. And the nice thing is when you're looking at your order screen, you can look at all your orders, or you can click a filter and you can filter, in other words, all the orders that came through the eBay channel, all the orders that came through the Amazon channel, all the orders that came through your Shopify store. So you can actually split those out as well. But yes, it literally through that marketplace module, which is the first area where everything comes in, everything literally filters through into Blade and then gets literally processed from that point forward right through to the end customer. So it makes it very easy to manage. And the nice thing is you can manage it across board. So you can actually look at one particular product. Let's say it was a mouse, and you can see how many mice you've got in Germany, how many you've got in the UK, and how many you've got in the US, and you can actually track that mice or mouses once they actually come into stock, exactly where they go, which orders they go to. So you've got full visibility throughout across the board.
Fantastic. Thanks, Julia. Over to you, Charlie.
Thanks very much, Julia. That was a fantastic presentation. I hope our delegates learned an awful lot from that one. So we've run out of time now, but the next session is in 10 minutes at 11:40, and we're going to be inviting